Did you know that over 90,000 people have died at music festivals since the 1970s? Many during loud, chaotic metal shows? From Iron Maiden's wild early days to Japan's thundering Visual Kei scene, here are 25 heavy metal stars who died and you never knew about their deaths. 1. Paul Di'Anno, 1958 to 2024. Paul Di'Anno was the first singer who helped Iron Maiden begin their journey. His voice was rough, loud, and full of fire. It fit the band perfectly during their early years. He sang on the albums Iron Maiden and Killers, which helped shape the band's heavy sound. But behind the loud music, Paul was falling apart. He had problems with alcohol and illegal substances. Those problems pulled him away from the band just as they were about to become one of the biggest metal groups in the world. He missed the rise, and it hurt him deeply. After leaving Iron Maiden, Paul didn't give up. He started other bands like Battlezone and Killers, trying to make something new. But the same magic never came back. His health got worse over the years. His body began to break down from the hard life he had lived. He ended up in a wheelchair, but even then, he didn't stop. He still sang, still performed, still tried. But it was clear he was tired. The spotlight had moved on, and only a few still followed him. In 2024, Paul Di'Anno passed away at age 66. Many didn't even know he was still alive. His death came quietly. A man who once led a famous band, who helped build one of metal's greatest groups, was gone without a lot of notice. 2. Lars-Göran Petrov, 1972 to 2021. Lars-Göran Petrov had a voice that sounded like thunder. He wasn't just a singer, he was a storm. He helped build the world of Swedish death metal with his band Entombed. Their music was dark, heavy, and full of power. Albums like Left Hand Path made them legends. Lars didn't just growl, he shouted with meaning. Every note felt like a roar from deep inside. He didn't care about fame. He cared about making music that shook the ground. Fans followed him for decades. He played with passion, giving his all every time. He didn't slow down. He kept performing, kept recording, kept leading. But even strong voices can break. In 2020, he found out he had bile duct cancer. It was a rare kind of cancer. It was fast and cruel. The news shocked everyone. People thought Lars was too strong to fall. But in less than a year, he was gone. He died in 2021 at the age of 49. He didn't get a long goodbye. He didn't get to grow old with his music. One moment he was there, and the next he was gone. His death felt wrong. Too soon. Too quiet. 3. Steve Grimmett, 1959 to 2022. Steve Grimmett had a voice that made people stop and listen. He sang with fire. He was the heart of Grim Reaper, and songs like See You in Hell and Fear No Evil made fans scream with joy. His voice could go high, loud, and deep. He filled every stage with power. Fans loved him. He lived for music and gave it all he had. But life doesn't always treat heroes kindly. In 2017, something terrible happened. Steve got an infection. It got so bad that doctors had to cut off his leg. Most people would give up after that. Not Steve. He got a prosthetic leg and went back on stage. He stood tall even with one leg. He didn't let pain win. He showed the world that nothing could stop him. But behind the strength, there was struggle. His health was failing. He smiled through it, but the fight was hard. In 2022, Steve Grimmett died at age 62. It didn't make big news. Many didn't know. A man who sang like fire was gone, and the world was quiet. Why don't we remember the ones who fought the hardest? Steve didn't quit. He stood strong when life tried to break him. 4. Eric Wagner, 1959 to 2021. Eric Wagner didn't scream. He didn't shout. He sang slow, deep, and sad. His voice felt like a dark cloud. With his band, Trouble, he made doom metal feel colder, heavier, and more real. His songs didn't just sound sad, they felt like sorrow. He made people feel every word. He was a master of emotion. His voice was haunting. He started singing in 1979. Trouble lasted for years. But Eric wasn't the type to stay still. He formed other bands like Blackfinger and The Skull. He kept creating, kept building. He wanted to do more, say more, sing more. But in 2021, COVID-19 took him away. He was 62. Just like that, he was gone. No warning, no long goodbye. James Kottak, 1962-2024. James Kottak was a drummer with wild energy. He played for the Scorpions for years, bringing life to every show. He also played in Kingdom Come and Warrant. His drum beats were loud, fast, and full of excitement. He made crowds jump. He smiled, shouted, and kept the rhythm going strong. But not everything in his life was as fun as the music. James had a problem with alcohol. It followed him for years. He tried to fight it. He went to rehab. He wanted to get better. But it wasn't easy. News stories started to show his struggles. There were arrests. There were public breakdowns. The drummer who once seemed full of life now looked tired and lost. He kept playing, but fans could see the change. In 2024, James died at age 61. His death didn't shock many because people saw it coming, but that doesn't make it less sad. He was a bright flame that burned too fast. Why did no one stop to ask what was really going on? He made music that rocked the world, but behind the drums, there was pain. Now, he's gone, and the silence is heavy. 6. Jerry Abbott, 1942-2024. Jerry Abbott didn't stand on stage, but he helped build one of the greatest metal bands, Pantera. He was the father of Dimebag Darrell and Vinnie Paul. He helped record their music. He gave them the tools, the studio, the support. He wasn't in the spotlight, but he made sure the light was there. He was a steady hand in a loud world. Jerry also helped other musicians. He knew how to guide them. He worked as a producer, shaping sounds behind the scenes. Without him, many metal songs would sound different. But people didn't say his name much. He stayed in the background, and in 2024, he passed away at 80. The news barely made a ripple. 7. C.J. Snare, 1960-2024. C.J. Snare wasn't just a singer. He was the voice, the heart, and the soul of Firehouse. Every time you heard Love of a Lifetime or Don't Treat Me Bad, that was his power, his fire, pouring through the speakers. His voice made people cry, scream, sing along. He gave everything to the stage. When Firehouse hit the scene in the 1990s, they weren't just another band. They were something fans held on to, and CJ was the reason. But even as the years passed and the crowds grew smaller, he never walked away. He kept singing. He kept going. Even when others forgot, he remembered why the music mattered. Then came 2024. At age 64, C.J. Snare died. Quietly, without headlines, without the crowd he deserved. And for many, the news never even reached their ears. How does a voice so loud fade into silence? How does someone who gave decades to music vanish without notice? That's the sad truth. The world moves fast, and rock legends get left behind. It should make us pause. 8. Rita, 1982-2024. Rita didn't just play bass, he made it thunder. In the Gazette, he wasn't hiding in the back. He was front and center with his presence, his look, his energy. Raita helped bring Japanese metal to the world. Visual Kei wasn't just about music. It was style, feeling, power, and Raita stood for all of it. On stage, he was like lightning, sharp, bold, unforgettable. His bass lines weren't background, they were the core, the drive. He shaped a sound that was both loud and deep. Fans didn't just watch, they followed. They dressed like him. They copied him. That's real influence. And Raita never lost it. But then 2024 came. Raita died at just 42. A young age, a hard loss. And outside of Japan, the news barely made a sound. How can someone so bold vanish so quietly? Where were the tributes? Where was the global sadness? Raita gave his youth, his fire, his body to the music. And when he left, most turned the page. 9. Eddie Sutton, 1965 to 2024. Eddie Sutton lived for volume. His voice wasn't polished. It was real. It was raw. As the face of Leeway, he pushed hardcore to its edge. Punk and metal crashed into each other through him. He didn't follow the rules. He tore them apart. On stage, he was energy, fire, anger, love, all of it, all at once. He gave fans something to believe in. He screamed for those who couldn't scream. His sound wasn't pretty, but it hit hard, and people felt it. They followed Leeway not just for music, but for a voice that felt like theirs. Then, 2024. Eddie died at 59. A shock? Yes. But what came after was worse. Silence. No major news. No mass mourning. A man who helped shape hardcore got little more than whispers. That shouldn't have happened. Hardcore has always been loud, angry, real. But now, one of its best is gone, and barely anyone noticed. What does that say about us? 10. Robin George, 1956 to 2024. Robin George didn't need to shout. His guitar spoke for him. It sang, it wept, it told stories. He wasn't the loudest, but he was one of the most gifted. With Heartline, he showed the world how melody could cut deeper than noise. He worked with stars like Robert Plant and Glenn Hughes, and he held his own. He didn't just play music, he crafted it. Every note had meaning. Every song had care. Yet when he passed in 2024 at 68, the world barely blinked. How could that be? A man who gave his life to sound, to beauty, to creation, forgotten so fast. That kind of silence is louder than any tribute. It tells us something's wrong. Robin George wasn't a headline name, but he was the kind of artist who gave everything. Even when no one was watching, he kept writing, kept playing, for love, for passion. And when he left, there should have been more. 11. Jeff Hanneman, 1964 to 2013. Jeff Hanneman didn't just play guitar, he led a sound revolution. Slayer wasn't just a band, it was a storm, and Jeff was the thunder behind it. Angel of Death, Raining Blood. These songs were weapons, and he built them. His riffs were sharp, dark, fast. He shaped thrash metal, and every band after borrowed from him. But in 2011, sickness struck. A flesh-eating infection attacked his arm. It nearly took his ability to play. He fought, but the battle was long. And in 2013, at just 49, he died from liver failure. Fans were heartbroken, but even then, the noise faded too soon. Jeff Hanneman should be a name every metalhead knows. But too many only know the songs, not the man who made them. Slayer continued, but something deep was missing. The edge, the danger, it came from Jeff. Without him, it's never been the same. He deserved more respect. more memory, but even legends can be forgotten. 12. Frank Watkins, 1968 to 2015. Frank Watkins didn't just play bass. He made it quake. With Obituary, his sound wasn't background. It was the weight that crushed you. Every riff had force. Every note was thick, deep, and final. Then he joined Gorgoroth under the name Buddle. From death metal to black metal, he didn't flinch. He embraced the darkness and made it music. His skill didn't care about limits. He just played. And fans knew this man was the real deal. Then in 2015, cancer stole him. At 47, he was gone. And the metal world got quieter. But not because people shouted about him, because too few did. His death came, and many barely noticed. For someone who helped build two of the heaviest sounds in music, that's shameful. 13. Mola Amor Sain, 1985 to 2024. Mola Amor Sain, better known as Amorth, didn't just play drums. He made metal music come alive. He wasn't famous around the world, but in Ukraine's black metal scene, he was a storm that no one could ignore. When he hit the drums, it wasn't just music. It was like thunder shaking the sky. People who listened to bands like Drudk felt that power. He didn't just keep the beat. He made every beat feel like a heartbeat from a darker, louder world. He played like he had something burning inside him. He didn't smile for cameras or try to be a star. He just played because he had to. But then everything changed. He stopped playing. The music he loved had to wait. Why? Because war had come. Real war. Mola left the stage and picked up a weapon. He put down his drumsticks and put on a uniform. He felt he had to fight for his country, even if it cost him everything. And in 2024, it did. He died in the war, only 39 years old. His hands, once full of music, would never move again. His drums sit silent now. The energy, the fire, the storm, gone, just like that. What would he have done if he lived? What songs were still inside him? Now, no one will ever know. That's what hurts the most. He didn't just die. His future died too. His music wasn't finished. His story wasn't done. But war doesn't care about music. War doesn't care about dreams. It takes everything, and it leaves nothing but silence. Many people around the world never even heard his name, but that doesn't make his loss any smaller. To the ones who knew, the ones who listened, his death was a heavy blow. He gave all of himself to his music and then gave all of himself to his country. And now he's gone. The world lost a talent it never fully saw. The beat he played still echoes for those who remember. But the man behind the music is lost forever. 14. John Sykes, 1959 to 2024. John Sykes was not just a man who played guitar. He made it speak. He gave it feelings. He gave it pain, joy, and power. When you hear those big songs from Thin Lizzy or Whitesnake, it's his guitar that grabs you first. Songs like Still of the Night didn't just play. They screamed, they cried, they lit a fire. He knew how to turn a few strings into something unforgettable. He shaped the way modern rock and metal sounds today. But somehow, the world didn't treat him like the legend he was. Over time, he became a ghost in the music world. Fewer people said his name. The lights on him grew dimmer. He didn't beg for fame. He wasn't loud in interviews. He let his guitar do the talking. But fame is strange. It celebrates you when you don't need it and forgets you when you do. John kept playing, but fewer people were watching. The crowds grew smaller. His name was whispered, not shouted, until 2024, when the whispers stopped altogether. He died from cancer, 65 years old. The hands that made guitars cry were now still forever. The stage is darker without him. Why do we only remember people after they're gone? Why do we wait to care until it's too late? John Sykes deserved the world's attention. He didn't just play music, he helped build it. Yet the world barely noticed his death. No loud tributes, no big headlines, just silence. It's a silence that hurts, because he gave everything, and it feels like he got so little back. He helped shape generations of musicians, but now he's gone, and only a few are still listening. His music will keep playing, but it's not the same. We'll never hear a new note from him. No more riffs, no more solos, just memories. His death is more than a sad story. It's a warning. Don't wait until it's too late to appreciate true talent, because once it's gone, it doesn't come back. 15. Greg Fritz Hinz, 1956-2024. Greg Fritz Hinz wasn't on magazine covers. He wasn't the face of his band, but he was the engine behind the music. He was the one driving it forward. As the drummer for Helix, he gave the band its punch, its power, its grit. The hits didn't hit the same without him. His drumming was loud, steady, full of life. You could feel it in your chest. He made every song feel bigger. He played like it was the most important thing in the world, because to him, it was. But music moves fast. The spotlight doesn't wait. Helix faded from big stages. The world looked away. But Fritz didn't stop. He kept going. He kept playing. Even when no one was listening, he still gave it everything. That's what real musicians do. They don't stop when the crowd gets quiet. They keep the beat going. And then in 2024, the beat stopped for good. At 68 years old, Fritz passed away. And barely anyone noticed. Another name lost. Another legend gone without the honor he deserved. Why do we ignore the people who gave us everything? Why do we let them vanish in silence? Fritz made music feel alive, but the world barely remembered him. That's not just sad, that's wrong. He didn't ask for fame. He didn't need it, but he earned it. His drums were the heart of Helix. Without him, those songs would not be the same. He played because he loved it, not because it made him rich. Now he's gone, and the silence is loud. His legacy won't be found in awards or headlines. It lives in the music. It lives in the people who still feel the beat he gave us. But the man behind the music deserved so much more. And now, it's too late to give it to him. 16. Vitaly Kuprij, 1975-2024. Vitaly Kuprij was more than a piano player. He was a storm trapped inside a keyboard. Every time his fingers touched the keys, he made lightning and thunder with sound. He didn't just play, he attacked the piano with fire and force. His hands were fast, almost impossible to follow. He brought together classical music and metal and made something completely new. It was loud, it was sharp, it was beautiful, and it was his own. He should have been everywhere, every stage, every screen. But he wasn't. Somehow, the world missed him. He played with our Tension, Ring of Fire, and even the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. These weren't small names. He stood next to giants. And yet, he didn't shine the way he should have. He wasn't the front man. He didn't smile for cameras. He let his music speak for him. But the world wasn't listening, not loud enough. His skills were rare. His style was brave. He took chances others avoided. And now, those chances are gone. In 2024, he died at just 49. Way too young. The piano, once full of life under his hands, is quiet now. There will be no more new songs, no more wild solos. The storm has ended, and the silence left behind is heavy. It's filled with everything he never got to do, everything we never got to hear. His death is a loud warning. We need to notice real talent while it's still alive. We can't keep letting it slip by unnoticed. 17. Blake Harrison, 1976-2024. Blake Harrison didn't play guitar. He didn't sing. He didn't hit the drums. But his work in Pig Destroyer changed everything. He was the one who made the creepy sounds, the sounds that gave you chills, the strange and scary parts in the music. That was Blake. He used machines and samples to build fear into the songs. Without him, the music would be just loud and angry. With him, it felt like a horror movie, a twisted, loud, and real horror movie. But most fans had no idea. His name was in the background. He wasn't in the spotlight. Still, what he made stuck with people. You felt it. You just didn't know it was him. He created sound that stayed with you long after the music stopped. Why didn't more people know about him? Why did the music world ignore him for so long? Then came 2024. Blake died at 48. No big news stories, no tributes from huge magazines. Just silence. Isn't that strange? Someone who made music that shook your bones, and he disappears quietly. That doesn't seem fair, not at all. It makes you wonder how many other artists like him are forgotten, how many great minds fade without thanks. 18. T.M. Stevens, 1951-2024. T.M. Stevens was fire. His bass didn't just play under the music. It lifted the songs. It shook the ground. You couldn't sit still when he played. He had power in every note. Funk, rock, metal. He blended them all. His style was loud, fun, and full of life. He played with big names like James Brown and Steve Vai. But still, many people don't know who he was. Isn't that strange? How does someone so full of sound get pushed into silence? He didn't just play the bass. He attacked it. He danced with it. He made the music move. But the music world didn't give him what he earned. Maybe because he didn't play by the rules. He wasn't easy to label. He didn't fit in a neat box. And for that, he got pushed aside. In 2024, T.M. died at 72. Another legend gone, another light turned off. But this wasn't just anyone. This was the heartbeat behind many songs. His bass lines made songs come alive. Now those songs feel a little empty, a little colder. And what hurts more? Most people still don't know what they lost. 19. Peter Kubik, 1975-2024. Peter Kubik made music like no one else. He didn't chase fame. He didn't need lights and crowds. He just wanted to build sound. Deep, cold, strange sound. He helped start the band Abigor. Their music was dark and sharp, like icy wind cutting your face. His guitar wasn't just fast. It was smart. It was scary. It made you feel lost and afraid. And somehow, that was beautiful. But Peter didn't care about awards or praise. He stayed in the shadows. He made music for people who searched for something deeper. He gave black metal a new shape. While others copied each other, he took risks. He twisted the sound, broke the rules, made something wild. And even then, the world barely noticed. When he died in 2024, at 49, it was almost silent. No big headlines, no music world shock, just a small whisper online. But that whisper should have been a scream. He changed a part of metal that few dared to touch. He built strange, rich soundscapes that crawled under your skin. And now he's gone. 20. Juan Brujo, 1963-2024. Juan Brujo didn't care if you liked him. He wasn't trying to be your hero. He was here to shout, to scream, to fight. As the voice of Brujeria, he used metal as a weapon, loud music with a message. He didn't sing sweet songs. He told hard truths about fear, about injustice, about power. He gave a voice to people the world ignored. Brujeria looked dangerous. They sounded dangerous. That was the point. Juan didn't hide behind fake smiles. He stood in front, yelling what needed to be heard. But the music world didn't always listen. They saw the rage, but missed the reason. They heard the noise, but not the meaning. Then 2024 came. Juan died at 61. The news was quiet. Too quiet. But the loss was loud. He wasn't just another metal singer. He was a fighter, a leader, a voice for the angry and unheard. Who will take that place now? Who will shout for the ones no one else hears? 21. M.C. Moore, 1965-2024. M.C. Moore gave heavy metal a steady heartbeat, but most people never even knew his name. He was the bassist for Avenger and Blitzkrieg, two bands that helped shape what metal became. In the 1980s, when metal was loud, wild, and full of fire, Moore was there, standing in the background. His bass lines on Bloodsports weren't just music. They were the floor the rest of the band stood on. People heard the guitars and the drums, but Moore's deep sounds held everything together. Without him, the songs wouldn't have had the same punch. He was the glue. Yet he got no fame, no spotlight. How can someone so important be so invisible? Later on, Moore joined Blitzkrieg and have worked on A Time of Changes. That album became a blueprint for many other metal bands that followed. It had that raw edge that fans loved. Still, the credit rarely landed on Moore. He didn't ask for attention, and that may be why it never came. He was a worker in the shadows. But shadows can't hide greatness forever. Or can they? His death in 2024 at 59 slipped by without much noise. No big headlines, no loud tributes. The man who made Metal Rumble was gone, and the world barely blinked. 22. Casey Chaos, 1969-2024. Casey Chaos, born Kareem Chmielinski, was a storm. A loud, wild, painful storm. And like a storm, he wasn't made to stay quiet or be liked by all. He screamed for those who couldn't. He made music that hurt, because truth often does. Since 1994, as the frontman of Amen, Casey gave us music that bled, screamed, and refused to bow down. His album, We Have Come for Your Parents, wasn't just loud. It was a cry from the kids no one listened to. His voice was rage. His lyrics were fire. But fire gets put out when people stop looking. The music industry didn't want someone like Casey. He didn't smile for cameras. He didn't play nice. That made him dangerous. That made him easy to ignore. Even though his songs shook rooms and scared some parents, radio stations passed him by. He worked with other artists. He showed he was more than just a screamer, but he never softened, and that kept him out of the spotlight. Some artists shine too bright for the stage they're given. Casey was one of them. He died in 2024 at 55. You didn't see it trending. You didn't hear it on the news. Yet another strong voice was silenced, and almost no one noticed. 23. Eric Sicky Wifebeater. Carlson, 1958-2024. Eric Carlson never played it safe. He didn't care if you liked him. He wanted you to feel something, even if that feeling was shock or anger. As the guitarist for the Mentors, he played music that didn't ask for permission. Their lyrics crossed lines. Their shows got banned. But they kept going. Carlson didn't play guitar to be loved. He played to break the rules. And rule breaking was something he did well. The Mentors made people mad, but their fans loved that. They weren't nice, but they were real. In a world where everyone tries to fit in, Carlson refused. His guitar work was dirty, loud, and filled with bite. He wasn't flashy, but every note dared you to turn away. The media hated them. Parents protested. But Carlson kept playing. He believed music should punch, not whisper. And it did. When he died in 2024 at 66, the silence felt strange. The man who made everything louder was gone. But the world barely flinched. No loud send-off, no deep tribute.